Hi everyone. C4Tech is the first ever drowsiness and fatigue prevention solution. So by leveraging everything you can find in a simply connected smartwatch and your mobile, we will be able to predict, to prevent from drowsiness up to 20 minutes before the visible sign of fatigue. I'm Nicolas VERA, I'm the CEO and co-founder of C4Tech. Thank you for being here. So why focusing on drowsiness and fatigue? Basically because drowsiness is the first cause of fatal crashes on the motorway, and 25% of the total accident in the road are directly or indirectly linked to fatigue or drowsiness. So the solution is obviously to prevent. Not only to know if you're gonna sleep, if you're gonna be drowsy, but more importantly to know and to indicate you while driving when you will start being too much tired, when being too much fatigue before stopping. So basically the role of C4Tech is to give you information, is to give you alerts when you are still able to react, when you are still able to detect and to know when you have to stop and where you have to stop. So the benefits. Indeed, as a driver, obviously safety is something you will take into account every time. But to get and to transform it into something more fun, more I would say something that you want to leverage and to take into account every day. Basically, we get rewarded, the drivers, just to incentivize everyone to get something, to win something because of the right thing, because of doing the following and following the right poses. So basically you will receive points if you are not drowsy driving, or if you are drowsy but you respect the poses, just to get some points and some e-vouchers to recognize and to make you rewarded for your right driving behavior. It's a plug-and-play solution. You only need a smartwatch, an application. It's an auto launch, so when you start driving, the system will automatically start and you will start your journey. So no matters if you use your usual Waze or Google Map or whatever, if you are not using it at all, if you are just making some routes that you know very well, but it's not because you know the road very well that you will not face fatigue. So that's the role of C4Tech. We'll auto-launch our system and we will give you some information about your state, about when you have to stop. It's a win-win strategy. Our solution is a B2B one. And who have to pay for this solution? It is the company. Why? Because the company will incentivize drivers, employees to get things right, and just as a reminder, in companies the first cause of accident is situation where employees are on the road, right? So as a company you have interest to increase obviously safety of your company, of your employees for QHSE engagement reason, more in a more broader way thinking about human resources. It is a way to also engage your employees doing the right thing. Company image is something very important also. We know how it's difficult also to recruit currently, so basically having the right image, thinking the right things for the employees is also helping to get a more positive company image. For the employee, the idea is to be evaluated. Indeed, the sense of belonging, the idea of motivation by having your employer taking care of you, but also receiving some points, receiving some additional rewards is something very important. That's why at C4Tech, basically at each trip, we will make a note. We will give you a note, and if the note is high enough, you will receive points, and you will basically receive in a full digital way some e-vouchers from your preferred and your favorite brands like Spotify, Netflix, Amazon, or whatever. So it's a win-win strategy. For everyone, the idea is to increase safety. For the employer is to work on QHC and on full strategy for people, and as employee, basically, it's to be rewarded and to agree on the fact that your employers is taking into account your behavior and helping you improving your behavior. This is one of the use cases of C4Tech. So C4Tech is working with Mofre, which is a major player in transport and logistics in France. Initial objective was to improve safety of the night drivers. So obviously in the transport industry, you spend a lot of time driving between midnight and 5 a.m. And it is usually the first population you are thinking about. Results, we equip more than 150 drivers with a lot of results, 0 accident in a year. So basically, which is much more than what we can expect statistically speaking. And we equip also the driver with the rewards program. The idea of the rewards program was, as I mentioned, to increase safety, but also to push drivers. I would say spreading the word and proposing to colleagues, to people that you know we are in the same industry, to push employers to develop this type of solution. And as a result, 30% of these drivers recommended the application to others. So obviously, it is a very good way to increase and deploy our solution. So what is the result and the next step with Mofre? Basically, in Q3, we will equip more than 1,000 drivers with 1/3 of their total employees. And the objective by the end of the year is basically, obviously, to equip almost everyone. Two things I did not mention, but I really want to raise here. The first one is that we are fully respecting privacy. So the idea is to give more confidence and more safety to the drivers, not to give more information to the employers about your employees, right? So we give information to the employers to help him improving his organization by putting some specific points on how to improve, at what time, in which conditions that his drivers face the most of risk. But we do not give details to the employer. The second thing is that C4Tech is working on heart rate variability, so on physiological signals, but we are not downloading and registering some health information. So we are not informed, and we will not inform others about your health in a general way. So, thank you for your attention. Last but not least, we do think that the transport was the right thing to start with, but we are now equipping commercial fleets, so fleets of light vehicles, and we do believe that everyone should be help improving his situation. So by next year, we do expect having a solution for in a B2C modes that will be more accessible and more easy to use. Thank you very much. You have some questions?
You said that you had 0 accident during the test,
Yeah.
period of a year, if I remember
Yeah,
well.
almost. Yeah.
And how many accidents were before?
So statistically, we should face one between 1 and 2. So because statistically, you should have 1 accident per 150 drivers a year. But it's also depending on the activity exactly of transport, because if you spend time night drivers, for instance, the ones that are driving for Carrefour or Auchan in France are more risky than the ones that are driving during the day, for instance. Maybe what I can also add as an information is the average cost. When you face an accident in the transport industry linked to drowsiness, the estimate cost in average is 100 30,000 euro each accident, because it's like, you know, something very impacting as an accident.
I'm wondering what is the difference between this technology and the DMS
Sorry.
technology. I'm wondering what's the difference between this technology and the driver monitoring system technology, the camera-based
Yeah, that's a good question. Just let me giving you some information and feedback and context about how we started this company. So basically, I was in contact with different actors of mobility, and they all speak about drowsiness issue because the European Commission was starting to develop its recommendation in terms of regulation. And by studying the solution, we see two ways. The first one was camera, and the second one was physiology. Why we decided to not go through camera is because physiology, in our way, in our vision, is the only one to get information very early in the process of drowsiness. With the camera, you will see, so imagine a scale from 1 to 9, where 8 and 9 you are feeling really drowsy. That's something you can easily capture with camera, easily. You can capture with camera. But what we wanted to achieve at that moment is to be able to give the information at level 5 or 6. And so by studying what we can do and what we can achieve with computer vision, it was very difficult to imagine that at this stage a camera can detect the information. So physiology was the only one, and that's why we started with physiology. But just to add one comment, we do not see camera as a pure competitor. We see things that it's for safety. Our mission is safety. So what we do believe at C4Tech is that fusion between different sources of information is the right way to increase the level of confidence and of accuracy of the measure. So that's why we see also camera as an additional, source of information to complete and to help us verifying in a very safe way that what we plan, what we say, what we deliver as prediction is verified by another source.
What are the requirements to build the system? Do you need to have?
So the minimum requirement is HRV, so heart rate variability quality. So basically, it's bit-to-bit information. So the minimum requirement is on the quality of the source of information, and it's depending on two things: the number of information. So we are looking at bips to bips, right? So sometimes you lose some bips. So the number of bips that you are losing is a minimum requirement, so it cannot be more than 20%. And also at which frequency you are losing information, because losing 20 information out of 100, if you lose you get one, you lose one, you get one, you lose one, is not the same as you lose the 10 first and then you have everything right, So this is the two things we are looking at.
This is based on the wearable technology itself, right?
So not only on wearable technology, so we are fully agnostic of the source. So basically, it can be a smartwatch, it can be some belt, it can be also a contactless device in a seat, for instance.
Can it be integrated in the steering?
So this is a good question. So actually, the answer is yes in theory, because it's a good source of information for getting the heart rate. But actually, since you spent less than 35% of your time with the two hands on the wheel, actually the source is not accurate enough, because you have maximum 30% of the time the information.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.